Hi everyone and welcome. My name is Soreti Kadir, bringing you news from Oromia, Ethiopia, the Horn region and the world here on the Oromia Media Network. In the western Wallagga town of Qiltuq Arra, the targeting of young people suspected of having ties with the Oromia Liberation Army by government forces has continued, and in this report we reveal a truly twisted and inhumane level of violence enacted by Ethiopia's federal forces. Photos of young men piled together in a ditch have been circulating social media over the last few days, and OMN sources have confirmed that these young men, up to 5 people, were enduring a process of torture enacted by government forces. The young men were first told to dig a ditch, after which their hands were tied behind their backs, they were blindfolded and thrown into the ditch, after which government forces proceeded to beat the men while they remained piled on top of each other. Sources told OMN that this took place in the federal military camp in Qiltuq Arra and that it's unknown as to whether the young men are dead or alive. Alarmingly, the targeting of suspected OLA supporters across Oromia has continued unabated and extended across regions in Oromia. In the Adaba district of the Arsi zone, mother of a 3-month-old, Zainaba, was arrested on the 28th of June and is reportedly being held in dire and inhumane conditions. In the very same city, 300 people were arrested after 3 Kebele leaders were killed by unidentified gunmen. In Horo Guduru, on the 25th of June, 5 young people were extrajudicially killed. The names of 4 of these young men are Werku Taye Geme Mammo, Fayisa Teshome and Ilyas Teshome. In the Gambela region, Oromo people are being arbitrarily arrested by government forces. A recent study conducted by an internal source has revealed that Ethio Telecom, a government-owned telecommunications service and the only telecommunications service operating in the country until the recent entry of Safaricom into the market, has been operating with discriminatory hiring practices that favor the Amhara people group and have what appears to be an institutionalized discriminatory culture across the institution. The full story is as follows. This internal investigation has revealed that the head of the service operations centers across the country are all members of the Amhara ethnic group. Of the 13 directors of Ethio Telecom who have been recently appointed, 12 are of the Amhara ethnic group and only 1 is an Oromo. Our sources also revealed that there have been different groups formed within Ethio Telecom, both religious groups and ethnic-centered groups, specifically intended to mobilize hate against Oromo people. The leaders of the following departments: information security, information system, marketing, mobile money, wireless network, fixed network, fleet and facility, communication, supply chain, network infrastructure, customer experience, quality management, strategy planning, and program management have all been identified to ascribe to an ideology that considers Amhara people to be the inherently superior ethnicity in Ethiopia. Amongst the marketing, supply chain, information system, fleet and facility and communications divisions, this research effort has also revealed high levels of corruption, including the stealing of funds. This investigation was not limited to just Ethio Telecom, but was also conducted across federal government institutions in the capital and surrounding areas and inside Ethiopian Airlines, where it found a similar culture of institutionalized discrimination. 60% of government workers in the capital and surrounding areas are of the Amhara ethnic group, as identified by this study. The domination over power and resources by the Amhara people group is considered a result of historical colonial dynamics within Ethiopia. The Oromo Liberation Front celebrated its 50th anniversary last week, commemorating its founding in 1973. More on this story now. The OLF is an Oromo nationalist political party that was founded a year before Ethiopia's Derg era to advocate for the self-determination of the Oromo people living across the country. Initially part of the transitional negotiations in 1991, the OLF was left out of the transitional government arrangements agreed upon and returned to armed struggle, during which its leaders sought exile in neighboring Eritrea. One of Abiy Ahmed's early political moves included welcoming back exiled leaders in 2018. Shortly after, as a result of an increasingly shrinking political space under the current ruling party, many OLF leaders were arrested, many of them still detained without fair trial. The Sidama National Liberation Front released a statement on the 2nd of July congratulating the organization, stating that the development of the Oromo language and culture and the mentality of being an Oromo known as Oromumma were incepted and developed by OLF and its far-sighted leadership. It continues to say that the SNLF sends its fraternal congratulations to OLF on its 50th anniversary, albeit with a heavy heart, simply because dozens of OLF's prominent leaders and tens of thousands of Oromo youth are to date languishing in Prosperity Party jails throughout Oromia, and the Oromo nation is subjected to ongoing war and government-planned famine. The statement concludes in strong terms as it reads, "We condemn with the strongest possible terms the reckless, criminal, immoral and short-sighted actions of the current Ethiopian regime to citizens and demand it to immediately step down to allow an all-inclusive transitional government to pave an avenue for the creation of a country that caters to the interests of all nations and nationalities under the current constitutional framework." Now in news from elsewhere in the world, Israeli forces have killed 8 Palestinians in Jenin during an attack on the refugee camp in the city. The assault has included airstrikes and an influx of ground soldiers in what is being described as the largest attack on the city in 2 years. According to Al Jazeera, Daniel Levy, a former Israeli government negotiator with the Palestinians, who is now the president of the U.S. Middle East Project think tank, says the attack on Jenin is part and parcel of the structural violence of the occupation. Jenin Mayor Nidal Obidi has described the attack as a real massacre and an attempt to wipe out all aspects of life inside the city and the camp. Emotions are high across the occupied territories, and it's unknown when the Israeli forces will withdraw. That's all for today's news. My name is Sareti Kadia. I thank you for watching the Oromia Media Network, where I bring you news from Oromia, Ethiopia, the Horn region, and the world.
Hawaasa Oromoo Ameerikaa kutaa bulchiinsa Siyaatil jiraatan mara.
Hawaasni Oromoo Ameerikaa kutaa bulchiinsa Siyaatil adoolessa 8 bara 2023 waaree booda sa'aatii 2 irraa jalqabuun sagantaa tumsaa OMN fi marii hawaasaa qopheessanii isin eegaatu jiru.
Deeggarsa miidiyaa walabaa fi sagalee cunqurfamtootaa OMN fi marii hawaasaa kana irratti uummanni Oromoo Ameerikaa kutaa bulchiinsa Siyaatil daandii jiraatan martuu affeeram
keessummoonni sagantaa kana irratti argaman Daayirektarii olaanaa OMN Dajanee Guutama, miseensa boordii OMN Dr. Ahmed Galchuu fi Sheek Adam Kabiraa yoo ta'an,
gaazexeessitoota gameeyyii OMN Asiyaa Muhammad, Tasfaayaa Aminaa fi Mahadii Junaydii sagantaa tumsa miidiyaa walabaa fi marii uummataa kana irratti ni argamu.
Teessoon teenya 3515S Alaska Street, Seattle.
Odeeffannoo dabalataatiif lakkoofsa bilbilaa kanaan koree qindeessituu sagantichaa dubbisuu dandeessu.
OMN utubuun sabboonummaa Oromoo utubuudha.
Koree qindeessituu sagantichaa Siyaatil USA. OMN.
From February this year, we have been bringing you content in the English language that has been covering the political, social, and economic realities of Ethiopia and the wider Horn region. We've had the pleasure of bringing you thought-provoking analysis and powerful stories to help us better understand the issues our region faces and what steps can be taken to solve these issues. As we continue to produce this content on our show OMN Insights, we're also excited to announce that we will be bringing you bi-weekly news bulletins in the English language. This means that we will now be airing a total of 3 English segments a week on the Oromia Media Network. I want to encourage you to tune in wherever it is you watch OMN content on Tuesdays and Thursdays for our news bulletins, and continue to watch and share our weekly program OMN Insight, hosted by me, Kadir. If you want to support our work through sponsorship, I also encourage you to get in touch with our team.